All right, let's get her going for the next 2 hours. It's the real Kyper and Bourne show, Leaf Hour edition. Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo, yours truly, Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, live on Sportsnet 360, 590 The Fan in Toronto, streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you happen to not catch us live, there's always the option. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Toronto Maple Leafs set to play their final game of the season.
Thank God. Oh, did I say that?
Sammy.
Thank God.
Sit back and relax on this one.
Let the good teams start playing on the weekend, boys. I can't watch this anymore.
Is your draft pick locked in?
No. Still need a pointer.
Seattle?
Still need a pointer to the Squids. And then, unless the Leafs lose. At least the Leafs lose tonight, then it's locked in. But if they don't, if they win tonight, the Squids still need a pointer to the last two games. And I think they play Vegas and I forget the other team.
You just hate the teams are incentivized to do this. So I don't blame you for feeling that way, Sammy, but it has been tough the last stretch here. And I think, it's time to take him behind the shed here and just be done with them.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to put a bow on it.
Night for the season.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, too, as we wrap up. I guess probably give them the day off and then bring them back in on Friday for
I think it might
media.
I don't know.
You think it's tomorrow?
I think there's potential for it to be tomorrow.
I think
Is that
it's
based
different.
on what you're hearing?
Just what I'm hearing. Just what
Okay.
I'm hearing.
All
So
right.
there's potential for it to be tomorrow. I think there's potential for it to be Friday. It's going to be either Thursday or Friday, I would imagine. I'm hearing Thursday. I don't know. Feels like, to your point, to be in Ottawa, come home after a game, get up the next day, face all of us. It feels like a quick turnaround.
But it doesn't to me.
What would
because
you
Just
do?
get it over with?
Typically, it's
Rip
like
the Band-Aid off?
Well, typically, you don't know the season is going to end. And then it ends. And so the guys kind of go through the emotions and they go out and party. And this is all, we know where we're at.
There are games Thursday night, right?
Lots.
Still?
Yeah.
Lots of games?
Well, not a lot, but a few, for sure.
I don't know. Do you want to have it on Thursday when the league's still going on? Does that matter to you? Or does it just feel like it should be the day after the regular season ends? Not yours, but the league's.
I mean, I think your chances doing it Thursday are best because the boys are probably going to go out one night regardless. Coming home from Ottawa is probably not the night. Just do the thing tomorrow. Let them go out Thursday night and be done with it.
But, I mean, this is back to our who owns the Chiefs situation here, but you'd be way more familiar than I would be. Do they not do an exit meeting with the players, or would they do that before the media avails or after, or how would that work?
That's a good question. And I would believe that with no general manager, if they want to go in and talk to their head coach, I don't anticipate the Leafs making any decisions on anybody the next day.
No.
I think you can probably go have a conversation with Craig Berube if you want. But to me, that exit day or that exit meeting would have more to do with medical and getting signed off on your health evaluation and your summer program and we'll see, get you clean up, grab your equipment. I don't know whether or not
what else is there to say? Boy, you guys were bad.
Outside of Craig Berube, do we expect the interim guys handling the office now and Pridham and Hardy going to go in there and evaluate these guys?
I don't think evaluate, but I don't think it's unreasonable to take the inputs of the players. What do you think went wrong here this year? I don't think it's unreasonable to talk to guys who are under contract next year and say,
I don't think those guys would have the authority to get their thoughts on the season.
Well, someone needs to, though. Someone should.
Someone should. You could still be a phone call away, and that can maybe be the next general manager who might be named as, early as next week.
I just think the current staff is going to operate. Hold on. The current staff is going to operate like they're coming back until they're told otherwise, right? They're not going to.
I know, but they get strict instructions on what people above them want them to do and say and ask.
And that's what we're talking about.
And I don't believe that would be
exiting
that they would also they're in limbo too. Let's be honest. There's a lot of people in that office
professional
that
sports.
have
You live
no
in limbo.
idea
Yeah, it's
and if you're going to
Jamaican resort right now, boys. A lot of limbo going
Go
on.
low.
if you're going to let go of a few people, the last thing you want them to do is do the evaluation of getting information for you,
Yeah.
and then taking that information and then bye-bye. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I just glossed over. You think a GM could happen?
I'm hearing, I think that, I hear some are progressing. Mike Gillis might be a guy that has visited the Leafs multiple times now.
I heard some things.
And, but there's others still involved, like Chaika, I think, came in and impressed a few people. So still kind of wide open here, but if you feel like you're in a position of,
I'm kidding.
If you feel like you're in a position of other teams looking at other prospects, are you in a race to get somebody?
Yeah.
That's what you're up against.
Well, I do think that is an important thing. I've stressed that this week, that my concern is by being too slow on the uptake, you could miss people, you could miss decision-making windows.
Were you guys too young for Mike Gillis in Vancouver?
No.
Do you remember him well?
How old do you think I am?
I don't know.
That's arguably when I was like the biggest hockey fan during that time, when those Canucks teams were dominant.
Yeah.
But,
Now, he's
12 years ago,
got
30.
old school, right? he's kind of an old school guy, as I mentioned on this show. A little bit of maybe he's arrogant enough or smug enough to maybe pull this off.
Yeah.
But the key is that if he can sell them on being a progressive guy.
Mm-hmm.
how many? Go ahead.
My concern is that everyone knows what the answers to the test are, right? If anyone coming in to do the interviews right now is going, I'm progressive. I am very into.
But
analytics.
everybody does that to a certain degree when they're going out for a job.
But I think when you go to, like if I did an interview with the Flyers tomorrow, I wouldn't, and you don't know what they want, you just tell them who you are and what you think works and hope that aligns with them. Unless you're constantly just trying to figure out the other people, but that's not honest or authentic.
Do you have a ballpark on how many people they've talked to?
I just decided, so it's Gillis then. That's what we're saying?
No, I'm just saying that that's the name that I've heard
most
early this week, that he may have come in Monday or Tuesday, and maybe for the third time,
Third time.
It's a lot of dates.
There's something about
a
charm
dates.
with third time. Third time's
the
a charm?
third date, I think.
Oh.
It's a big date. It's a big
So-
date.
Again,
Oh, God.
that's not to suggest that he's the odds-on favorite, but he covers a wider net than if you were to go and get one of these analytical gurus.
So it's just going to be him.
But hold on.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Do you think what role? I know I liked your bit yesterday that title's not important. Do you think he would have one? Do you know what he would be interviewing for?
I would think that the guy that I remember in Vancouver would want to be that guy, not unlike Brian Burke. When I see a third hand on the steering wheel,
I'm cutting it off.
yes.
So like Kyle Dubas in Pittsburgh, he'll be a president and GM.
For Mike Gillis to come here and want this job, and this is the difference again between if you want to go get an experienced guy, NHL guy, who has some status, but also doesn't have to worry about maybe his next paycheck or his reputation or whatnot, that there's a big difference between a guy that stature coming in and then laying out some parameters than a guy like Sonny Mata, who will be probably more inclined to say, I'll give you whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want, whatever the ask is. Let me know the questions and I'll answer appropriately. But that's the difference between the one guy and the other.
So I kind of like that. I like that Gillis would want to be a guy with a clear vision and direction rather than someone who would be more of a, I don't want to say be more pliable. I want someone who's a little less pliable.
That's Tulsky in Carolina. And I told you that No, you got to really understand that he is not that guy that can come in. Like, if Rob Brindamore says, you got to stand outside the dressing room. There's not too many other teams. The head coach gets to tell the general manager, you're not allowed in the dressing room right now. But in Carolina, that's what's going on.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's just a different. Yeah. It's a different way. Right. I mean, it's not better. It's not worse. They're in the playoffs. The Leafs are out of the playoffs. Maybe that's better.
Yeah.
But that's what's going on. And it's just, you got your title, but you don't have it like in the traditional way that we've been accustomed to seeing for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, relevant to this whole conversation that I guess would be, I don't know, the quote unquote elephant in the room was the article that was written today in The Athletic, boys. And, there's a lot of stuff in there. I don't know how you guys want to talk about it, where you want to start or whatever you want to get into, but it's quite a piece.
It is quite a piece, and it's making a lot of noise out there. I got to be honest with you. My first thought was I got a bit of a chuckle out of it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because only in this city can we see something like this at this level, right? Where you got like 3 writers, and I think I read 20 sources. 20!
Yeah.
Like, tell me where, like, you can't even find 20 people in Carolina or Columbus to follow that team, and they got 20 sources here. 20!
Yeah, people care. Like, people are locked in. That's why they have 2 people working on it.
That's what I kind of find that humorous, is that, okay, and obviously one of the main titles in the word is dysfunction, okay? But any team that misses the playoffs, I assure you, is dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Okay? So I get that a lot of people are up in arms on this, but like, it's going around the whole league for 16 teams, but nobody cares about that. Where's the Athletic on the articles on the other team that it's a total mess or in their perception?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just not there. It's just, this is what we do in Toronto.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. It is a comprehensive sort of amalgamation of things. I think
there was a part there where I thought I was reading my own manifesto at one point. When they were talking about the willy finger and the cut on Berube's head. I was like, oh my God.
It's like kind of pulling together the timeline of the way the season went. And I guess the thing that stands out to me more than anything is that the team got desperate, right? They wanted to win and make changes. They had trouble adding the pieces they wanted to add. And when it started to go sideways, you're grasping for ways to reel this thing in.
And Keith Pelly comes in, and right now it's just, there's a watch on him, man. He might as well be Jim Carrey and Truman, man. We're watching him 24/7. He makes one mistake, there's going to be 50 reporters to write about it, maybe 20 sources who's going to give you their version of it. And listen, he's made some mistakes, but he's been on the job for, I don't know, 18 months, 24 months. He can't learn hockey in 24 months. He can't learn what works and what doesn't in 24 months. There's going to be some growing pains, and it's been documented in this thing, but it's the way it works. It's the way it works with every team. You want to go and get a fresh guy, a new guy to come in. There's going to be mistakes. They don't get highlighted as much as they would here in this town under these circumstances.
I guess that's the part that concerns me as someone who wants this team to do well, is that I don't know if you pulled this together for Columbus. You saw Rick Bowness yesterday, or the Vancouver Canucks, who are, I know, hot. God. I don't know that a comprehensive review of a year gone wrong looks all that different, but I hope that for someone like Austin Matthews doesn't see an article like that and think it's a massive outlier. They're cutting costs in certain areas. And to me, it's like they're still spending.
Okay.
But God knows how much more than...
So the perception out there that the Leafs have gone cheap now.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm like, is that the same team or the same ownership group that has the Blue Jays that's sunk in like $1 gazillion in the building, $1 gazillion in talent, $1 gazillion in the Dunedin practice facility? I'm like, how can that be? Right? How can that be?
Right.
That all of a sudden they're not spending on the Leafs, but they're going to go spend on the Blue Jays, and it doesn't.
You don't think that's the case? You don't think that they would?
I thought that earlier in the week we maybe alluded to the fact that that wasn't going to be the case. That maybe there was some worry about the two things.
My one concern is that this happens because to me, part of Toronto. People say it's a tough place to play, which we have different feelings on.
Yes,
don't necessarily agree. The one thing they've done super well here for a long time is it's been the best place to be a player in terms of treatment. Right? You go and it's massage therapists and nutritionists, and it's even I was with the Marlies, and we all stayed like NHL per diem and stayed in your own room, and I do think that those are important things to keep up, but I understand that not everything is going to be the same.
This is a big company up here, okay? And I don't believe for one second this is the way it works, that someone walks in the room and says that we're going to do this, this, and this, and then Edward Rogers signs off on it. Like, there are people up there making some decisions in terms of where they put the money, how they want to spend it, where the budgets are. And I don't know what ends up on ultimately the owner's desk and what doesn't. It could be just simply someone that no one's ever heard of in finance that just says, okay, we're going to do this time.
Well,
and it's not that they're cheap. It's just that maybe someone in this mecca of a corporation is just making some decisions that ultimately may fall into that's not good for morale, right?
Well, that was the parents' trip was a big one, right? Where it's like it didn't happen, but then they ended up doing the mentors trip, but some of the, the staff didn't get to bring people. And I think there was, who makes that call?
Who makes that call, right? I mean, how far does it really go up? And
I mean, like, it's the problem is that regardless of who makes that call, this team has tens of millions of hundreds of millions of fans that don't know who the person who made the decision is. It's just going to fall on the organization and the guy at the top.
Assumptions, yeah.
It's like you're not going to be able to comb through the organizational structure and figure it out. It's just going to fall in the lap of one person, and that's what the people would have an issue with.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just
the bigger question is just, does it affect the team going forward, any of this stuff? And it's like, it's been a bad year. It's been a terrible year, and everything that could go wrong will go wrong, and that highlighted it to me.
So I think one of the
one
of the big points that came out of that is sticking in people's craw, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on, is the AI aspect of this. And the AI aspect has been...
But look at him when you ask this, because I haven't got a clue on AI.
I think...
tweeted about hating it 2 days ago.
I think where we're at with the public perception of both the Toronto Maple Leafs and artificial intelligence, where there has been this massive pushback towards it in terms of people being scared of it and people not understanding it. And I think those two things coming together and then having this article come out really terrifies people. And me and Fabs were talking about it upstairs. Let me finish. Like, what are other teams using AI and it's just not getting talked about?
The answer is yes.
Are they?
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Is that true?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay.
I mean, I've worked with a couple companies that are, one in particular that's trying to do video tagging without it being manually. So they just tracks events based on player movement and just tries to minimize the workload. But the word is scary. The one thing too with data centric, and we've had so many data conversations over the past week, but if you and I were in a room and I said to you, here's two players, we want to acquire one of the two of them, they have the exact same stats. This guy started in D zone every shift last year. This one started in the O zone. So what if we took this guy, you'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. That's all we're talking about. Another thing, more information. That's all we're talking about here. And I think the words are scaring people more than the information.
Yeah, and Sammy, it's not just you and how it pertains to the Leafs. Everybody is nervous about it. Everybody's scared. They're scared for their current jobs. They're scared for their children's jobs, what it means to all of us. So it's okay. Let's all just be scared together.
For the record, I asked ChatGPT today, who should the Leafs trade? Who should the Leafs trade Austin Matthews for? And it said, short answer, they shouldn't. Trading Austin Matthews only makes sense if he wants out. Ooh. or the return is absurdly good, franchise altering. Otherwise,
Maybe we don't hate
otherwise, you don't move a Hart caliber 60-goal center in his prime.
Wow.
So I don't know.
All right.
Maybe it knows. Maybe
right.
AI is a puck knower, boys. I don't know.
No, we're GPC.
So
I don't know. You can understand
yes.
in the climate we're in with both the Leafs and AI, why people having the data-centric thing coming out, having Pelly mentioned at the press conference, having this article come out, you can completely understand why people will be terrified of that.
And you have like the AI industry being like, any day now it's
You're done.
Yeah,
So-
We'll do real Kyper and Bourne on ChatGPT tomorrow.
driving
So
the stock
in-
prices up.
again, it's so new to everybody that so we're just kind of wrapping our heads around an analytic guy.
Mm-hmm.
But now there is the what do you call it again? GP.
ChatGPT is one
Chat-
of the, it's one of the popular.
It's
Claude's going to
it's
be
now
the new GM.
it's now out there, and it's now another tool.
Yeah.
So now there's two tools. So the pronunciation's Hamza, I think.
Yeah.
He's an MLSE, but he's the innovative guy, right?
Yep.
So he kind of comes into the picture a little bit, and there's also the hockey analytics side, which has been the last few years Daryl Metcalf, but the chat guy isn't a hockey analytic guy.
Mhm.
So now when you try to get the both of them together,
Yeah.
they're like, well, I don't know you, you don't know me, and people are putting us in the same lane, and we don't know how this works.
So
and that's an issue in itself.
The most valuable person you can be in this industry right now is someone who can take all that guy's information and that guy's information and the scout's information and say useful, useless. It's our segment. Useful, useless, all this stuff and tease out what's important. That you're going to be inundated with information, and knowing what information matters is going to be the most valuable asset. So I don't think you can be any one of these things. I don't think you can be just a data guy, just a scouting guy, just a AI guy, if that's a thing. You know, like I just think you need someone who can distill the information.
Well,
That's the whole role.
should the Leafs rebuild or retool? Short answer, a full rebuild would be overkill, but a serious retool is probably overdue. Here's what's the reality with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Why a rebuild doesn't make much sense. So it'll tell you.
So far, it's doing a
You
pretty
don't
good job.
tear it down when you have elite prime age talent like Austin Matthews and William Nylander.
Maybe I am obsolete. Oh, man.
No.
All right, Sammy.
I don't know. I just
Dennis Hildeby starting tonight.
okay. I guess we're moving.
What does
on.
chat say about him?
That he shouldn't be starting? I'll
Don't have a goalie?
Ask Sam GPT. Like, why the hell isn't Actiamov starting? He stunk perfect. You have to lose. Like, what? Oh, he was so bad, you better send him down to the Marlies. Why are you calling up the better goalie to play him?
See, that's
Because
why you think Actimov's nuts?
it's just,
Why would they send him down?
I don't know, give him an experience.
Yeah, I think Hildeby's been a good soldier all year
Yeah.
long, and I think this
The
is like a
Hildebeest should be in the plans next year.
well. And that's-
Agree. I think he's a good goalie. Like, he's an NHL caliber backup goalie. Why is he playing tonight?
It's very funny that your argument is that
There's
he's
paying
too good
customers.
to be playing tonight.
Oh, yeah.
There's
you're-
paying customers.
Oh,
There's
kick
paying
rocks.
customers. Yeah, the paying customers
Oh
in
my
Ottawa
God, we
who
just-
aren't seeing Brady
just
Tkachuk
crap
and
all over.
Stützle and all those guys.
The
Like,
paying fan.
The paying fans not seeing Brady Tkachuk, Sanderson, Shabbat, Stützle, Amadio, the great Amadio. By the
They
way,
should have to sit in the stands and sign autographs for 2 hours.
I think the Leafs tonight, I get why John Tavares is playing. If he plays tonight, full 82, which at his age and the way he plays is a really remarkable thing to go at all 82. I respect that. He should play.
yeah.
No one else should. Why? Like, is there anyone in the world that would be more thrilled to not play tonight than William Nylander?
Okay.
Is there anyone, like, what? He'd be like, I don't have to play tonight? I can stay in Toronto? Like,
Man.
Let's get Craig Berube on the Hildebeest starting. Clip 1.
Good to get him in for a game, and we used him a lot down the stretch here, so good to get Hildeby in there before we go back to the Marlies. And he's played 19 games this year for us, and did a good job. So thought it'd be good to get him back up for one more.
19 games?
yeah. And he was good. What was his numbers? Like above 900 for sure.
He ended up being way better than I thought.
Do you have his numbers?
I do, yep. He played 19 games, and he's a 9-12,
Yeah, great.
which is near the best in the league.
Put him in a must-lose game. Exactly what you should be doing.
Oh, my goodness. He almost played 1,000 minutes.
Do we have what's
in the
Seattle got
minors.
left?
They have the Kraken tonight. Oh, the Kraken play tonight against Vegas, and then I think maybe Florida. Or
I got to tell you, there's a very real threat of the Leafs winning tonight. Ottawa dressing no one. Hildeby coming up to show that he's part of the plans. There's a real threat.
I got bad news, boys.
What?
It's Vegas, and then on the second half of back-to-back, Colorado for the Kraken.
But Colorado doesn't need it. Doesn't need it.
They didn't
at
need
all.
last night, and I was pouring over that game, watching the finale of Flames, and they still won that game. They didn't need it.
Yeah. Well,
Shame on them for trying.
Oh, come on.
Well, hey.
No, honestly, Kyper, at this point of the season, like, really? It's the last game. Shame on them for trying. That's where we're at. Like, really?
I'd fill the net, man.
Oh, give me a
I'd still fill the net.
chance you could get.
Honest to God.
Well, you don't want a good
getting
draft
a goalie, getting a goal in practice excited me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you saw Rick Bowness
I'm not
being
turning
like,
down.
these guys just don't care. They don't hate
So
to
hold
lose.
on. One more goalie related clip. Play the Joseph Wall one. Clip 2 on
I
Joseph
think
Wall.
overworked, in my opinion. From not, playing a good stretch of games, but also faced a lot of rubber. Too much.
Do you think he's capable of handling more?
I do. I do believe he is. There's a few things he probably has to think about and change a little bit to handle that load, that type of load, It's a lot. If you look at the goalies in the league, there's only I don't know how many, a handful of guys that play, 50 or more games in a season.
Joe will clock in at 39 starts this year. He's above league average.
Almost 40.
Above league average save percentage at an .899.
That's a
He's $8.99, eh? He had some bad ones recently.
It's a bummer because he was above 900 for a good run there.
and he
He's
missed.
But overworked?
Did he miss 8 weeks to start the season? 6?
November he came back, I think.
6.5.
Yeah.
I mean, and nothing was really said about that.
What do you mean in terms of from
Yeah,
Berube?
we just never really understood it other than, are we sure it wasn't an injury? Are we sure it wasn't?
Well, I think we
Right.
assume now it's mental health, and I think it does seem like a faux pas these days to ask about that or inquire about that. But I think fair as an employer, the Leafs to wonder, okay, is this going to be something that we're going to have to build into the plans with him a little bit?
Yeah. What's he saying though? A guy that doesn't play 40 games
Overworked?
and is overworked, right? Like, is he ever going to be that guy that could put 1 year together at 50, 55? Is he kind of waving the white flag on that?
Well, to me,
I find it hard
overworked
to believe
is
at this
since he came back, right? Like if he had been there from the start of the season, his pace is a 50-game pace. So I think his implication.
But he's overworked at 39.
Well, in a condensed period, right? It's not 39 over the season. He came back in 6.5 weeks late.
At this point, I find it hard to believe you're ever going to get more than this out of him.
Yeah.
Like I don't, like, it's easy to sit here and say that when he's never done it. So, but I have a hard time trusting either of these goalies.
Most
Really.
he's ever played was last year's 42, and that's any season going back in
Career
on
high
his-
before that was like 25, right?
Yeah, his elite prospect page going back to juniors, anything never more than 42.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. So maybe that's what you're looking for, and you need Stolarz to give you some, and Hildeby, and you're a tridum, not a tandem. I don't know.
Does it worry you that
trio?
it appears that did Berube say anything about how Stolar's injury could affect the way he trains in the summer? Or
I think was that last week or sometime he said that
Like-
it could cut into his offseason.
so
Don't like that.
he's just he's behind the 8 ball for training camp now.
Mhm.
Do you know what happened?
I've not heard definitively. lower body injury.
LBI for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we should go.
Okay.
Okay. Still plenty to get into. You mentioned Rick Bowness. We're going to play those comments, after the break.
We got Luke after the break.
Luke
Fox.
Luke Fox. Why didn't you tell me?
Hames.
Kyper, you haven't read a text from me in 2 weeks.
I don't have my glasses. All right, Luke Fox. The force is with us when we return to the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee with a big Jays win last night, Sammy.
It doesn't work.
Back,
Oh, yeah, there we go.
back.
It did. I don't know why. It just felt like everybody was kind of watching that one last night. My Twitter feed got a lot of texts. You two were in on it. Like, it was a really exhilarating baseball game.
They just needed that.
And I don't know how there's just certain points over a really long baseball year where there's these flashpoints where just games feel more important. And that one last night really felt important.
I like it was getting away from them.
And I got to say, I don't care who knows it. I love Miles Straw.
Yeah.
Miles Straw is the perfect type of guy for Toronto sports fans to love. Undersized,
Hey, and just the quietest guy. We love the quietest guy.
just gritty, big hits and big spots.
Toolsy.
Great
Can run,
defensively. Huge
play
Miles
D.
Straw guy. Love the Straw dog.
This is in the
All right.
straw hour.
Love the Luke dog. All the way from the nation's capital. Let's welcome him in. Luke Fox, NHL writer for Sportsnet.ca. Luke, what's going on, my friend? Lots of talk, lots of articles, people feeling a little bit dysfunctional. What's the vibe amongst 20, 22 guys out in Ottawa right now wearing the blue and white?
Well, I think more than a few people with the Toronto Maple Leafs got up and read that article in The Athletic this morning. And there was definitely some discussion at the rink about it. That's for sure. And my big takeaway, talking to some members of the Leafs, was it raised eyebrows, and no one thought it was inaccurate. Put it that way.
So tonight it's been interesting watching this team try to get to the finish line. I've been open about what's best for the team is to get the best draft pick possible. What does their lineup look like tonight? We got a bunch of kids. What's going on tonight?
No real changes. I think the big change is Dennis Hildeby getting called up, and he's going between the pipes, getting rewarded. Joseph Woll, kind of interesting, the fact that they sit him out the last couple games of the season, even though, he's really ended on a bit of a losing skid, kind of lost his way. Not entirely his fault, to be sure. The Leafs have given up more shots than any other team in the NHL. But he's kind of leaving on a bit of a low. Anthony Stolarz is leaving on a low, injured, with a rehab that's going to eat into his offseason training. We're going to see more Villeneuve and Luke Hames. The only major change with the skaters is Calle Yarncroc apparently is a little banged up, so Pizzetta will come in for him. But outside of that, I think it's more interesting that the Senators, with nothing to play for in terms of seeding, are sitting like 5 of their best players.
Yeah.
So
Concerning.
there's a fear, if you're on Team Tank, that the Leafs could salvage a win here. But we saw what the Florida Panthers did with their AHLers. They just still were able to outwork the Leafs. So we'll see.
When it comes to the Marley call-up, you know what you're going to get out of them, and that's just a chance to impress and do whatever you can in a league that they've dreamt about their whole lives. But what about the other guys? Are they getting tired of Sammy and JB going lose, lose, lose? Do they talk about it? Do you get a sense that where these guys feel about the 5th overall pick?
Yeah. As you might guess, Nick, they don't care about the 5th overall pick. A lot of the guys are worried about their own jobs. I mean, William Nylander's fine, right? He's not too fussed about it. John Tavares is just John Tavares every day, no matter where the Maple Leafs wake up in the standings. But guys like Simon Benoit, right, he's under contract, but his future is uncertain. He feels like he needs to fight for every day in the NHL. I had a long talk with Troy Stetcher this morning. He doesn't know what GM he needs to impress yet to try and get another deal with the Leafs. He'd like to return. He's fighting for his NHL life. He's not even sure that he's going to be in the league next year as a veteran who's hit the waiver wire a couple times. So they're leaving it all out there. A guy like Steven Lorentz feels like he's had a bad year, feels like he still has to show up for the crest. Nick Robertson is a major question mark as an RFA again. Same with Matthias Michelli. So individually, these guys don't care, most of them, about that pick. They want, to play because they need a new deal or they need to impress. Even if they don't want to be in a Maple Leaf next year, they need to impress the rest of the league. And I thought I was blown away and impressed by what Rick Bowness said. That game meant nothing to Columbus, but there is an element of culture setting, I think, for the individual and for the group.
We're going to get to those comments in the National Hour, but just quickly, JB, can I just jump in here? Yeah. Is the first thought, in our Leaf Hour edition or where you are covering the team is to compare Rick Bowness to what we've heard from Craig Berube all year?
Yeah. I think there's a segment of Leaf Nation that would have wanted to hear that type of rant, whether it was from Berube or whether it was from Sheldon Keefe before him. I feel like they wanted that moment, and Berube never really went there. I mean, he hinted at it. There was a moment where, in Washington, where the Leafs had a really flat effort, and it was said, where's the pushback? And he said, go in there and ask them, not me. And there was another moment after the Olympic break where he said, I can't give him this, and he pointed to the head, and I can't give him this, and he pointed to the heart. So there were hints at that, but there wasn't a full-blown emotional rant about the culture needs to change here. He hadn't gone quite that far. So in the scrum today, he answered his thoughts on Bowness and kind of said, yeah, good teams, the players in the room have to say some not so nice things to their teammates. They have to be the driving force of that hate to lose attitude. And the follow-up came to him, is that a problem in Toronto? And he said, I'm not going there. He's going to keep his true thoughts, I think, close to vest, whether that means, maybe one day it comes out and maybe he's not the coach of the Maple Leafs anymore when we hear what he really feels. But no doubt, I think just being around multiple different teams over the years, I think the Leafs could use more guys with that hate to lose attitude for sure.
There's a funny tweet today, Michael Amato, who tweeted about Calle Yarncroc finishing that 4-year deal. It's been incredible. He's the type of guy who didn't really inspire much passion in anyone. He was fine, right? Got through the 4 years, and he had 15 points the last 2 years. Well, it kind of embodies.
I'm watching him the other night, and I'm like, it feels like Back to the Future.
Well, it embodies kind of what's happened. Like one of these guys just kind of went away when it got hard, but everyone kind of liked him, a nice guy and all that. So
15 points in the last 2 years.
So these are the kind of guys that aren't going to be here next year. Is Morgan Rielly?
Hey, we don't know.
Well, fair enough. Is Morgan Rielly, though, do you get the sense kind of another one of those guys that's just not going to be a part of whatever the solution is next year? And do you feel that from him?
I don't know, Justin.
You think he might be back?
I say flip a coin.
Oh.
I think it depends who the GM is and his vision for Morgan Rielly. And Morgan has a massive, massive say in this. Yeah. But I do feel like just this week we saw more of an open consideration to the idea that he might not play out his contract here. And he signed through 2030. Like, there's still years on this thing. I don't think a buyout makes any sense. And I do think if you want to move him and he's open to moving, that he would have value on another team with the rising cap, with the fact he can log minutes. He can still, produce on a good team's second power play, in my mind. He can still break out a puck. And I actually think maybe there's better hockey in him if he feels a bit challenged, a bit refreshed, not walking into the same room where he's seen the highs. He knows what it feels like, and he knows this isn't it anymore. So I wonder if he's starting to have like some serious thoughts about what's more important to me, my loyalty or winning a Stanley Cup.
You're watching and listening to Luke Fox, who covers the Toronto Maple Leafs for us. Does a great job on sportsnet.ca. So, Luke, I asked Sammy this earlier, but is there any word out of Ottawa about what tomorrow or the next few days could look like for the Toronto Maple Leafs in terms of their availability?
Yeah, it's interesting because originally they had kind of circled Friday as the day where they would do locker clean out, and they've moved that up to tomorrow morning. And this is the quickest turnaround since I've been on the beat that they've done that. And I think it's just a realization that this whole last month has felt like one big locker clean out in a way. And they just want to get out of town and, get it over with. So tomorrow is the plan. Austin Matthews is scheduled to speak. I think he'll be definitely the story of the day since he hasn't spoken publicly since the Radko Gudas incident. So he'll probably be the headline guy. I've been informed that no one from management, so no Brendan Pridham or Ryan Hardy, are going to sit at a podium and answer questions. So I would expect Berube and, a handful of the key players to do scrums at their practice facility in Ford starting tomorrow morning. And then they get to scatter and start to, wait and see news on the next head of hockey ops, begin their off-season training, probably take a little vacation. I'm curious if, John Tavares, maybe even Morgan Rielly, if they get an invite to Team Canada at the Worlds. William Nylander is non-committal. He said he's going to think about it so far. So some of those guys will go over to Europe in May and participate in that tournament, and that's about it.
As someone that will be covering tomorrow morning, can you give us some insight on what kind of day or what kind of questions it could be for Austin Matthews, and where do you begin? Where do you go? Because we haven't seen him or talked to him. Well, he gave out the season tickets. He made someone's life with amazing tickets. But what kind of questions do you think he's going to get hit with?
Oh, I think it'll be, pretty hard-hitting questions in terms about, does he still believe in the team? Does he see himself a member of this team? Is the turmoil of this season, like the Leafs, in my mind, this is the most disappointing season in the club's history in terms of their expectations going in. I know he had high expectations. Training camp, he was very much, talking about wanting to prove people wrong that he can do it without Marner. And he didn't have a good year, and it ended in injury. So does he still believe? Does he want to wait and see? And I think that's probably going to be the truth, that he'll probably say something along the lines of, well, I want to see who the GM is and what the roster looks like and who the coach is. That's probably what he's thinking. He probably doesn't know. But I think he's going to get questions about his future, which is a little bit odd for a guy who's still under contract for 2 more years. And then the other thing is he going to chime in on player safety? We saw his agent, like Judd Moldaver, sound off. We saw Connor McDavid throw his 2 cents in. Did the Gudas thing affect his ideas about player safety? Are they protecting the Stars enough? And also, did it affect how he views his teammates who didn't come to his aid?
I hope you're the only one who gets questions tomorrow, because that was a great list.
These things, I'm sure they're big topics that are going to come up no matter whose voice they come out of. Yeah.
Luke, congrats on a great regular season. Unfortunately, the Leafs aren't moving on, so we don't get to have you back on the show covering the Leafs. But
there's going to be Leaf stuff happening.
There might be news.
Yeah, but not games. Not games.
No more games.
You've done a great job.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Every time we wanted a tough question, we're like remember that commercial? You guys weren't even born with, but there was a life cereal commercial. It's like, he won't eat it. Let's get Mikey. Let's get Mikey. Let's get Luke to ask a question. Let's get Luke to ask a tough question.
We can always count on you. Did a great job.
You're Mikey eating the cereal, bud.
All right.
I got nothing out of you.
I'm at the end of the bowl.
Nothing.
Just drinking the milk for
I'm at the end of the bowl.
All right, this milk's sour right now.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this, Luke.
Thanks, pal.
All right, have a good one, guys.
You too.
Enjoy game 82.
You too.
Very topical reference.
My Mikey went over like a lead balloon.
In fairness, I have heard of it because my mother references it.
I've never heard
Thanks.
of it. Never even heard of it.
I'll be in the corner in a puddle right now.
No disrespect, Mom.
All right, you're Terry Koshan and you're Luke Fox. Your question to Austin Matthews, Luke Fox.
Do you want to be back next year?
Your question, Terry Koshan.
Can you lend me some money?
That's good.
Whatever it is, I hope he has a real strong understanding of the message that he wants to come across, no matter what he's leaning towards. It's no one's saying to give up state secrets here, but have an objective of coming out and meeting the media because you're ultimately reaching the fan base. And I've been critical and hard on a lot of the messages that have gotten kind of lost towards the fan. And, whether you need to lean on your PR guy or your agent or your somebody, but just come out and don't look like you're kind of a deer in headlights. You're the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Look a camera in the eye and tell them what you're thinking or feeling without, again, giving it all up.
My question would be, do you have an athletic subscription?
I had a friend text me today, and he said, whoever gets hired here needs to get him and Willie in a room and say, the nonsense stops here. These are the new standards. This is not we're not going to figure it out next year. And basically, it starts now, and you're either on board or you're not on board. Do you think you can do that with those guys?
No. Well, who's doing that? Sonny? Mike Gillis?
Yes.
Who's doing that?
Mike Gillis, yeah.
Yes.
Or Sonny, sure.
Yeah.
Whoever
Sonny can't do that.
Okay.
Can't do it. Not the guy. Okay,
Is Mike Gillis the guy?
They'll look at him and go, who are you?
Okay.
Will they say that?
That should impact their decision on
What about
Right?
Mike Gillis?
hiring.
Yeah, maybe. But so Mike flies in. He's known nothing. He hasn't been in the league in 14 years. And can he do it? Can they respect it? Can they, okay, you say nonsense. Okay?
Yeah.
Stop the nonsense.
Yeah.
Now I'm Willie or I'm Austin and I go back, hey, Mike, what nonsense are you talking about? You just got here 5 minutes. You're going to tell me about the nonsense?
Yeah.
What nonsense?
Yeah. So, you in a tank top and flipping off the camera and you being you. I legitimately think that this is a very important piece of the puzzle, that you can't take this Leafs job and go, well, I haven't been here, so I don't know what happened before me.
Yeah.
That is the one thing I will listen for with the person who gets hired, is I cannot have, I don't know what happened before me, because that's part of getting jobs.
I think if it's Mike or whoever else comes in, you got to rebuild a team. And you need strength in numbers and just it needs a makeup, a spice up. That whole hockey department needs. And listen, I'll go just for a second. Go back to the Athletic article. 20 sources. That's 20 people who who are these people? You work for the organization, okay? Why are you talking? I want to go back into that office and go, listen, you got a problem? Bring it up, because all I'm going to do now for the rest of my days is now try to find out who you were and get you the hell out of here.
Jack Nicholson in The Departed, looking for a rat.
Yeah, there's 20 rats right now in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big staff. It is a large number of humans for sure.
But just get people in there that you can trust. Let's start there.
Well, that's
how you
important
rebuild.
thing. I think Mike
Trust.
or whoever needs to come with people, knowing that he's, all right, that's my guy I trust. This is my guy that does this that I trust. You need people. Everyone needs help.
All right. That's one solid hour where we solved nothing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Erik Johnson's next. You see him on the sidelines there in between between periods? God, this guy should be in movies, man. Not sitting there asking Tortorella questions.
Too handsome to be on the show, you
I'm
think?
going to tell him that, too, when we return. All right, our thanks to Luke Fox. Plenty more as we go national. The Real Kyper and Bourne Show. All right, let's get her going. It's the National Hour on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. If you miss our show, you can always catch us live on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube, where we always appreciate a thumbs up for Sammy.
Sammy?
And you, a little bit. Not me. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Erik Johnson, former National Hockey League defenseman and now star of ESPN Hockey. And he's got this thing
PK
going on
Subban
with...
wouldn't like to hear that.
PK's old now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's old.
Bucci.
He's with
Bucci
me
just
now.
resigned at ESPN, by the way. Anyway.
Did you do his contract? Like, what are you so excited about? Is like he's making
Giving you
more
all
money.
the ESPN insights I got, pal.
All right.
Don't look at me.
I really killed whatever he was going to say. That
No.
Bucci part.
We're good. I don't know. What do we have tonight? Do everybody's slotted?
Well,
Everybody knows who's playing?
I am working the Ottawa Senators versus Toronto Maple Leafs hockey match. Everyone is going to be riveted to their television, I assume. Ottawa's not dressing 5 regulars. The Leafs are
How do we
trying
feel
to
about
lose.
that? That's okay. Why would anybody want to buy tickets to game number 82?
Because you might see the best
It
game of
could
the
be
year.
it could be a monster game.
Yeah, it could be a playoff game.
And today you can
I like
probably
the
walk
chance-
up and
I-
pick one up for a nickel.
I like the chances of it not
Mm-hmm.
not mattering anymore now. The three, I'm kind of disappointed that like it's all got settled so quickly.
Yeah. Well,
But
Ottawa just won and won and won.
It's the third point, boys.
Yeah. I know.
LA, how many regulation wins?
22 regulation wins made playoffs for the Kings. 82 games.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
60 times they couldn't get it across the
Remarkable.
finish line.
That's pretty amazing. And I mean, we do have set playoffs in the East, right?
Mhm.
All of them are set.
Ottawa versus Carolina, Buffalo versus Boston, Pittsburgh versus Philly.
Oh my God.
I know. And then what's the other?
Montreal.
Montreal, Tampa.
So
Whew, it's the best series of all.
I think laundry wise, Pittsburgh, Philly. I mean, if you had at the start of this season had told me that Pittsburgh and Philly would be playing in first round of the playoffs, that would be one of the most unlikely outcomes of the season.
The NHL themselves, Bettman would have been drooling at that.
How many times do we come on this show and talk about Sid having to get Sid out of there and being like, Sid's never going to make the playoffs there and all this stuff? And we somehow
Is he going to play for the Avs or the Canadians?
and we somehow didn't make it on their montage of them making fun of people, thankfully, that every team has to do now. That
I think we should agree that if you make a montage,
Uh-huh.
you can't lose in the first round or get abused.
Yeah,
You
agree.
can't hold everyone's feet to the fire, dunk on everyone, and then just go like lambs to the slaughter for some teams. So hopefully Pittsburgh and Buffalo can.
I do like Pittsburgh, I think.
I do, and I like Buffalo. I like both those teams to win their series.
It's funny where that fine line is between like the success of Pittsburgh, or if you look like you would have picked the Islanders over Pittsburgh at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I
No,
would've picked
the
them
Islanders
both to
weren't
be in.
very good.
No,
I would have picked them both.
Schaefer was a shock.
it's just now everybody's so excited and feeling so good about Pittsburgh and not a great feeling about the Islanders.
Yeah.
It's just that fine line of how much do you want to hang in there and how much do you want to like regroup or retool or rebuild, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's just such a fine line.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's Pittsburgh going to look like in another year and a half, 2 years. Is Sid
Very
still
different.
playing? Is he retired? Is he still managing 90 points?
But they're in the ideal spot where they are now. Dubas has stocked their cupboards with picks and they've got prospects, but they also get to have their cake and eat it too, where they get this last magical playoff appearance with Sid, with Gino, with Letang, the 3 guys that have been there for a million years. They get to have that too. They get to get the playoff gates. Like, God, Dubas did a good job.
You think Philly can beat them?
No.
I think they can.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's a coin toss.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a series for sure.
Yeah.
Philly better goaltending, I guess.
The Skinner thing, though, he's been to the Cup final twice in a row.
Played some big games.
He's 28.
Yeah.
It's not nothing to say that a big guy who's been there and has some experience that he can't be very good. I mean, Oilers fans probably. We're one of the bits we're going to do on tonight's broadcast, and I won't give you my answers. Like, what are the most wild playoff outcomes that could happen? And one of them is definitely Stu Skinner wins a Stanley Cup for Pittsburgh, or wins
against the Oilers.
Against the Oilers, like that is the ultimate freak out. You know, there's
yikes.
Jari has an 860 in the final. Like,
you know, like
my God.
there's some potential for some wacko stuff. So this should be a good playoffs.
Carolina and Ottawa, first time they're meeting.
Is that right? First time ever?
First time ever, yep.
Whose goaltending do you like better? Would you rather have Linus Ullmark, who won a Vezina Trophy, who's been hot for the last 2 weeks, or 3 goalies in Bussi, Anderson, and Kochetkov, who you just need one to be good? But you got 3. You don't have one.
We had Steve Alliquette on yesterday, who gave us an amazing breakdown. If you guys have not watched it,
his answer was, they're all bad.
Go download it.
Did you say Bussi was like a bottom 5 goalie?
Well, his
the Olympic break?
And Ullmark's career save percentage in the playoffs is, I don't know, 860 or something he mentioned.
Like, that's going to be a bit of a theme here.
Coin toss again, right? I mean,
I would have picked Ottawa against anyone in the playoffs but Carolina, probably. So I think that's going to be a really good series. I don't think there's a series out there. We got no sweeps in the first round out of the East.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In the West, Colorado is going to lay waste to the Kings, we assume. But I don't think they're not finalized yet. The West isn't finalized, if I'm not mistaken.
Can we get the West standings?
Yes. If playoffs started today, you'd get Colorado, LA, Dallas, Minnesota, Vegas, Utah, Edmonton, Anaheim. Night, Anaheim. Night, Kings. And then Dallas, Minnesota, Vegas, Utah. Vegas is pulled together.
I know it was like a mail it in Monday for the Dallas Stars, who still beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I'm nervous for them.
For Dallas?
Against Minnesota.
Are you?
Yes.
They're exciting, Minnesota. They can score. They play physical. They got a couple of good goalies.
Yeah. Can they? Is Dallas going to be a team that's going to take their runs at Quinn Hughes, or is he going to quarterback this thing?
I don't know. Dallas feels like they've been the same team for 5 years. Like,
and
they don't have the same elite guys, but they're very, very good all the way through.
Maybe they don't have to play Edmonton in the conference finals. That
probably would
work out.
Yeah, well, to get to the conference final, you got to beat Minnesota and Colorado.
Yeah,
which is
seems like a tall task.
Tough sledding.
We're just working on it, Erik. Here, did you want to do? The bonus stuff?
Yeah, I think it's we definitely want to get that in because Rick Bowness, we all know since coming and relieving Dean Evison in Columbus, it was really a feel-good story for the organization, for Rick. They went on this massive winning streak, got themselves back in playoff contention, and then it just went sour the last week and a half. They lost their spot, and Rick Bowness had some very choice words for his hockey club that I don't know if I've ever heard that type of emotion. Let's have a listen.
Rick, you've been a part of a lot of games and a lot of seasons. Have you ever been part of something that's as frustrating as this has been down the stretch?
No. And you know what? All you got to do is look at the stat sheet. 3 hits, 23 giveaways. Like, I don't know if I'm back, but if I'm back, I'm changing this culture. These guys, they don't care. Losing is not important enough to them. It doesn't bother them. Like, how can you go out and play like that? Should have done this about a month ago. But this is why we are where we are. This is why we're out of the playoffs. That kind of effort. Losing, you have to hate losing. I don't care if it's a meaningless game. I don't care. Show up and compete. 3 hits, 23 giveaways. What else you want to know?
3 hits, 23 giveaways is
insane. As long as that type of speech or comments were repeated and the first time was in the dressing room to those guys. I loved every second of
Yeah,
that.
he didn't come out there that hot without having just done it.
Coaches are scared today to do that, I think.
Yeah, it's the fun part about being 70. You go, I don't care.
Yeah, that's
Fire me.
maybe the most valid point right now. Yeah, you're right.
I feel like your mic is not currently on. If we could flip that on. Okay, so 16 months ago, Patrick Laine said these exact same things about Columbus. I don't know if you remember that, but he left there and he had some quotes. He said, I feel like I was just tired of losing and just giving up when it's December to focus on next year. They're a little too satisfied and too comfortable with where they're at. It wasn't a fit for me. So he got killed for criticizing Columbus, but that guy was just there. He was just there.
I don't even know if I really feel this way, but can I present the other side of this?
Okay.
This is the second time he's done this after game 82, right?
Yeah, there was a Winnipeg. There was a big Winnipeg one 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Scorched
with
earth.
Wheeler and
Then he came back, right? Did he come back after that?
I don't
Can't
know, but he was
remember.
right about that Winnipeg
He
team by
was.
most accounts.
He was.
What are you saying? It's part of a shtick?
I don't know. I just felt a touch over the top. Just a touch. Like a little bit like he doesn't have a contract for next year, wants to show that he's big rah-rah guy. I don't know. Something about that felt off to me. That's it. And I'm just presenting that side of it.
You know, even if that were the case, I think the fact that he is so competitive and wants to do that job that bad that he would put on that act in the case he's doing what you're talking about reflects
He's
a guy who
clearly
cares
pissed.
and loves it.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't find it disingenuous.
No, I don't.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying. You're like, what have you been here, 5 minutes? And like you can figure all that out. But yeah, maybe he can. He's been around the game that long.
Sure.
And I don't think we looked at that and said, oh, you're wrong. Like there's something fundamentally wrong about this organization that they can't get back in.
Mhm.
They're just always this team that finds ways to lose.
Yeah.
And the fan base, it should be a concern for the fan base.
I wonder who he's talking about. You know, in his mind, there's like 2 or 3 guys. You know, you're not talking about 18 guys that all want to lose, don't care about losing. Who is that specifically? You know, who's been there?
Like,
Boone Jenner's been there. Monahan.
Charlie Coyle's going to have some attention this summer. He's going to
Provorov.
sign. He's going to.
But remember, when was that? We had Bowness on our show, and he came on and he said, I think one of you two asked him, was there a guy that when you got there surprised you? Or remember he was
Coyle.
like over the top effusive in his praise of Coyle, saying that was the guy, he was the guy that surprised him the most. So it probably wasn't Coyle. And I mean, there's a couple coaches have sat out the what's the Kent John, not Kent Johnson, and the other one that they drafted high too. Fantilli has had I don't know. Just maybe there's a culture thing there,
Sillinger.
but we don't have to talk about it every day because it's not the league.
No. And just one more point. Like, they're going to have to figure a few things out because, like I said, Coyle's UFA.
Yeah.
Marchment, who's come in and gave him a little bit of a presence and some sandpaper, he's up. And
He's going to get money, eh?
he is going to get money. And the other one is sneaky Fantilli needs a new contract.
He's RFA, right?
Yeah, he's RFA, but are you going to go buy him unrestricted years? Does he jump to $8 million, $9 million?
Yes, I'm Columbus. So I need elite talent. Yes, I am. They paid Provorov a silly amount because they're trying to it's like Kaprizov light.
Boone
Very
Jenner.
Yeah.
Boone Jenner could walk too.
Yeah.
And does he improve off his 3.7? And what kind of market is that? They got deep pockets there?
Can I ask both of you guys, if you are Don Waddell,
Mhm.
who was so nice to send us a jersey that I left in the bus, was willing to he asked you guys, or you or him, sorry, and you watched that,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have a contract, are you more likely to bring him back or less likely to bring him back? Because he says, he's like, when I would put in a culture or whatever, it's like, so when you just first get there, are you trying to be Mr. Nice Guy to kind of change it over and be a player's guy? But now that they're out of the playoffs, you're going to flip the switch into being a mean guy? Like, would that make you more or less likely to have him back? Because I don't know.
I don't think that speech would have an impact one way or another.
Okay.
For me. But, my hiring was probably just very different from some people's in general. Like, I don't.
Was it Doug McLean that told us they were like on a boat, or he's rented a boat, or he had a boat and got a call that said, do you want to come back to coaching kind of thing? And I'm just sitting there going, does a guy get off a boat in Florida to go to a place where he'll only sees himself for a few months and then wants to shut it down?
No, he wants to go coach, right?
And do you hire a guy to come in like that and know what you're kind of getting? And not that you hope to have avoided that press conference, but he had it in him, and you let him go out there and do it, and then you don't want him there anymore. Like, I think it's just completely set up for him to come back, is my point.
Well, and I think, him and Torts were both kind of strange hires, right? If what do you mean you're just coming here to be a substitute teacher? And in the case, though, that it was what you're saying, that they're not a substitute teacher, that they are the decision you're making, then don't you just pay the guy and don't make him a lame duck? So I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. To me, they said, let's see who's on the coaching market this summer and make our decision then. And I think that still may hold true. Is Cassidy want to go coach Columbus?
I just love that you go full Shoresy, and that's when you know you're mad. The boys don't hate to lose. That's like a full Shoresy quote. So they don't hate to lose.
That's a true classic hockey line. They love to win. They don't hate to lose.
Did you guys want to, because they asked, I don't know in the national hour, but it's relevant. Berube kind of been on the hot seat. They asked him about it today at the morning skate before the game 82. Did you guys want to hear Berube's thoughts on it?
Absolutely.
All right, let's play the thoughts from Berube. Clip 3 from Berube.
Everybody hates to lose. They don't want to lose, but you have to really, I think more than anything, and I'm not in Bones' head or what he was thinking or whatever, but for me it's like losing has to hurt, and it's got to be vocalized in the room by your players. Like when you're losing and you're not winning, things have to be said in a not so nice manner. And when that happens in a locker room enough times, things are bound to change. You got to challenge each other, and it's he's not wrong.
Is that something that needs to improve around here?
I don't know. I'm not going to talk about all that. Like, I'm not getting into that stuff.
Berube probably felt like, is it Robin Williams at the end of Good Will Hunting? And he goes, he stole my line. Like, he's like, that guy stole my whole line. That's what I was going to do.
Do you think, maybe not, after game 82 tonight, he just finally lets it fly?
Oh, absolutely not.
God, it would be
absolutely not.
As the kids would say, it would be cinema.
It's just that would be a total act, and that would be like,
it's not of his nature.
It's over. It's just over, and
it's over.
Yeah, it's just I believe that Rick Bowness has got a lot of juice still left in him, and we'll face a few of those guys by next September.
Yep.
Okay, as promised, Erik Johnson, former National Hockey Leaguer, now star of ESPN. Erik, how are you, my friend?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me out. I'm good.
So
you star a little loosely, though.
How's the gig going, man? Like, you're looking pretty good, I got to be honest with you. And you can't show up John Tortorella like that, maybe with the jacket and the button-down shirt, I mean, it's tough for him to go stand beside you, isn't it?
Yeah, I played for Torts, obviously, so Kyper, it was kind of easy for me to be able to give it to him and really not know. Well, I knew he wasn't upset. It's kind of like a front that he puts on for the media. But we talked before the game, and he really did say no stupid questions. And I go, well, I'm going to ask you this. He goes, no, don't tell me what you're going to ask me. And in hindsight, he might have rather known, because he would have for sure told me not to ask him why he was wearing the stupid tracksuit last year, and then decided to switch to the suit.
Do you have any insight on that? Like, are they making him wear a jacket and tie? They have to be.
I don't know. I mean, they've relaxed the dress code everywhere else. So like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's, but in Philly, it was like as casual as you could get. I mean, the players, we wore tracksuits when I was there too. It was awesome.
Erik, the transition you made to media, have you been surprised by what guys will or won't give you in those interviews? Like, you know them and you know what they're really like. Have you been surprised at how shut off guys have been, or maybe how open they are?
No, I kind of expect to get a lot of the cliche answers, but what I've tried to just go back with at is, if you say get pucks in deeper on goal, this interview's over. And I've said that live a few times. Like to Rantanen, I was interviewing before the game, and he, gave me the total BS, pucks in deep, bodies of the net. I go, that's all you're giving me? Really? We played together almost 10 years, and that's it? That's all you're going to give me? So, no, it's fun. I think it's like you play for so long, you get a repertoire with some of these guys, and they'll give you a little more than they might give to somebody else. So might as well take advantage of it while I can, because after a while, you won't have played with anybody and they might not give you much. So hopefully a lot of my former teammates and opponents continue to give some good answers, because it's been fun just to kind of humanize the interviews a little bit more.
So when I played EJ, I never turned down an interview because I thought they would never ask me again, right? Did you ever have that seed of, yeah, maybe I could do this, or it might be an option? Or did you stumble in it? Did you have nothing better to do when you're retired?
Yeah, funny. Good question, Kyper. So I wanted to play another year this year, and I only had a few PTOs, and I didn't want to do PTOs after the career I had, and I did well enough and played long enough that I just wasn't interested in doing a PTO. So I did a media camp a year ago, the NHL put on in New York City. And that was kind of my first thing where I thought I might like it. And then Scott Lennox, who's a producer for Sportsnet hockey games, we had lunch one time. He's like, you'd really be great at this. We need analysts fresh out of the game. Whether you do it with us at Sportsnet or you do it in an American network, like, I think you'd be awesome at it. And so I, put it in the back of my head and thought maybe this is something down the road that I'd be interested in. And I had an opportunity to work with Danny Briere this year in Philly. And Danny's like, we're talking about what I'm going to do, help the defense, player development, yada, yada. He's like, we'll fly you out, economy, put you at the Staybridge Suites. I'm like, I don't know about this, man. This year. I think I'm gonna try TV and see if I like it first, and right up front and stay in the nice hotels. But yeah, I just was, thinking that let's give TV a shot. I know I want to stay involved in the game. I know I want to continue to be busy. You can only do the golfing and the traveling so much, and
not really
stay stimulated.
That's just I thought I'd throw that in. Not really.
Well, for me at least. But yeah, TV's been great. It's been a great transition. Been really fun. Fresh out of the game, being between the benches every game, like, that's been really great for me. Some guys it might not be great for, because you miss it. I don't miss it. So I think it was a perfect timing.
That's great. I'm curious to hear about that part. You don't miss it. My career ended much younger than either of you, because I was bad. But I was 27 or something and decided, I was ready to be done. But not a lot of people, it doesn't end that way for a lot of people. You won the Stanley Cup. You had success in your career. You made good money. Do you feel like you just sort of did all you had to do to get where you are?
Yeah, and I think I would have played another year for sure if the right situation popped up. If Torts was still in Philly, I would have definitely been back there, but things just didn't work out the way, and that's totally fine. Yep. Very grateful for as long as I did play. So, yeah, I think you just look back on your career, and it's such a short moment in your life, and you snap your fingers and it's over, even though it was almost 20 years. But I knew I wanted to stay involved in hockey in some way, in some capacity. right out of the game. So not sure if that really answers your question because I kind of forgot what you said anyway. what was the question?
Well, for me, it was just a matter of I felt like I had played enough hockey and I was too injured. But for you, it's a matter of you kind of checked all the boxes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think, it was maybe if I was chasing that Stanley Cup, it would have been a different story, and I would have tried to grind it out for another year. But I was almost 38, played 1,000 games, won a cup, so I was kind of like, I'm good. And the way it shook out, I couldn't be any more grateful. If you told me I would have the career I had when I was 6 years old, I'd sign up for it every day of the week. So the way it ended, I'm completely satisfied and grateful, and wouldn't have it any other way for sure. The way the transition's been too.
It is amazing, like whether or not you're a superstar or just won the Conn Smythe or you're a plug like I was in '94. It is truly remarkable, Erik, what the difference can be in the way that you feel the rest of your life, the way you look at things. If you've been a small part of a Stanley Cup championship, right? I mean, I'm not making this up. It literally changes your life.
100%.
Yeah.
You are 100% right.
It
was almost like I became like more of a complete person or a version of myself after that. And I don't know why, but it just felt like everything came full circle. And once you accomplish what you want to accomplish, it's just like, wow, it was more relief for me in a way.
Yeah. Closure is the best way. Closure, a type of closure.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm doing Daryl Sutter's book, and I asked him his first thoughts when he won the Stanley Cup, and the only thing he said was finally. Like, just he could be done. Like, he was content with a career at that point. So let's pivot to the NHL right now. Your former team, the Avalanche, got to be the front runner right now. I'm sure you're still in touch with some of those guys. Tough path though coming out of that Central.
Yeah, I think they're in a good spot though, right? I think. Man, I mean, they could actually get lined up with Edmonton, though. If there's still some I's to dot and T's to cross as far as matchup. I mean, they could play Anaheim, they could play LA. They would sweep both of those teams, in my opinion. No disrespect to them. Edmonton, if they get the goaltending, that could be a different story. But it looks like it's going to probably be Anaheim or LA. I think they'll have no problem with those two teams. And then that second round is going to be a complete war just because you're going to see one of Dallas or Minnie. They're going to beat the hell out of each other in the first round. If that game doesn't go 6 or 7, I'll be shocked. Like probably most other people would be, but maybe they'll have a bit of an advantage because they could sweep LA or Anaheim or Edmonton or LA or Anaheim in the first round and maybe have some rest. And if that Minnesota Dallas series goes 6 or 7, they might be picking on a wounded animal in the second round. I don't know. That's it never shakes out how you think, and it's never as easy as it looks, even if you sweep a team or win 4-1. I mean, I remember playing Edmonton in the Western Finals in 22, and we swept them, but I think 1 or 2 games went to overtime. There's a couple 1-goal games. You lose one of those games, and you're like, holy hell! Like, is the momentum swinging back to the other side? So that's like these series are so tight. Whether the games go 6 or 7 or not, there's so many little moments in games where you're like, could this swing the momentum the other way? It's such a fine line, but the Avs are in really good shape. Their only question mark for the Avs is their power play's been bad all year, but it's been very good since the deadline in the Olympic break and since Kadri came over. Their power play can be just average. They'll be fine, and they need to get goaltending. Can Wedgwood carry them the whole playoffs? Don't know. Blackwood hasn't been great lately for the Avs. He's found his game maybe the last few, but they're going to need both those guys in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens, but they have every right to win, and they're the favorites for a reason.
Yeah.
You're watching and listening to Erik Johnson, former National Hockey League defenseman, Stanley Cup champion, and superstar on ESPN. He could also do motion pictures if he chose to, but he chose not to. EJ, one more for me, just in terms of going back to being the first pick overall and then watching a guy like Matt Schaefer and just comparing the mindsets of coming in with that title. There's only one of you, right? It's like the heavyweight champion of the world. There's just only one first pick overall. And then what you endured during your first year and what Matt is and the comparisons and then ultimately his season this year for you.
Man, what he's done this year, I don't think anyone expected, but it's pretty impressive. I wasn't close to that. I never was. He'll be, he looks like a Eastern Conference version of Makar to me. And it just seems like he's got a great head on his shoulders. He has that swagger and it factor about him, and would have loved to see maybe the Isles sneak in there because he's really breathed some life into that franchise. I think they needed a guy like that. And from my perspective, I think I was way too mentally immature for that type of pressure at that age. I mean, some people would say I'm still an immature kid, but I mean, I didn't really fully mature and, comfortable with all that stuff until my mid-20s. So, going through that, it was a tough first few years, but at the end of the day, as I got older, once you become comfortable with yourself and who you are, then I think that's kind of when I started to become a top defenseman in the league. But it was a rough first few years, not on a good team, injuries, not playing very well. And then going to Colorado was really the best thing that happened to me, playing there for almost 15 years and winning a cup. So, it made it sweeter coming out the other side, though, because I really appreciated how hard it was and the grind. And, a lot of it was my own fault and doing, and whether I was ready for it or not. But I think as I got older, I just accepted what I was and tried to be the best at it. And, at the end of the day, a lot of people would sign up for the career I had. So I'm pretty proud of it.
Do you feel like going number one overall is a burden? Like if Gavin McKenna is the big name, is that going to make it harder to have success in the league?
No, I mean, I think it all depends. Like, you could be second or third and go into a way better circumstance where you have a lot better players around you. Or you could be drafted to a team where the cupboard's bare and it's going to take a lot longer, right? Like, look at Bedard. Like the cupboard wasn't super deep when he got there, and it's taken some time. He's still a hell of a player, but that team hasn't taken the next step yet because a lot of the pieces that they had still need time. So I think it just depends. A lot of time it's circumstance, or a lot of times it's just you have a generational player like McDavid or Crosby or something like that, where your team is just automatically going to be a lot better when you get those guys. But I think a lot of the time is circumstance. So I don't know. I think McKenna seems like a stud. I think he's going to be a great player.
EJ, you're in big trouble, man. This segment went so well. We're just going to bug you now for the rest of the season.
I got nothing going on.
I love it. Hey, thanks for doing this for us.
Anytime. Take care.
Thanks for your time.
That is
Appreciate
Erik
it.
Johnson, who does a great job on ESPN right now. Just in terms of your question about burden, or when you talk about those players, they've been special probably their whole life. Yeah. They're built already to handle that. They want it.
Totally. I can't relate. But like, as an undrafted player like yourself, and I was in those NHL dressing rooms, and for a couple of years, getting a peek during training camp, and even being in the American League, and seeing, the opportunities that drafted players would get over an undrafted player. Just getting drafted is a tailwind, right? That helps out. I do feel like there's a level where it becomes a bit of a headwind, where expectations are so high for you that if you're not doing XYZ, people are immediately down on you. So I don't know that it's always a tailwind.
Game time.
Okay.
I don't think EJ is going to have a problem in this industry.
He'll be fine.
I think he's going to do pretty well.
Yeah.
It's game time. Presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. All right, guys. You know where I'm going here. Happiness hedge time.
Oh.
Toronto Maple Leafs play what can only be argued as one of the biggest must-lose games in this franchise's history since Monday. They are playing the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa. You can get a great number on the Leafs. The Leafs are still plus 175 underdogs in that game tonight. I know they stink, but
Wow, Ottawa's not playing 5 good
Ottawa
players.
is not playing anyone. They're minus 200 in that game. Still a good plus money. If you want to win a little bit of money, if the Leafs actually find a way to win this game, plus 175 is a great number for a
Hammer
happiness
the
hedge.
Leafies.
So, coming from experience, as a guy who's done a happiness hedge or two in his life,
Yeah.
it's a great number. That was Game Time, presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
I think Sam got a new set of golf clubs based on betting on
Stop
Montreal.
Did you go large on
No, well, listen.
sticks?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
But
No.
over the past, I don't know,
Betting against Toronto sports teams has
Oh,
paid
okay.
Sam well.
Montreal,
I remember that one.
I was rich.
Yeah.
Panthers first year, I was rich because they were huge underdogs.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money on the Dodgers last year. Anyways, let's go.
It didn't help your happiness.
No,
any.
I think about it every day.
Yeah.
Not the money.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll get a few more NHL news and notes, including Adam Foote, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, not too worried about his future. Plus, Chris Pronger versus Kevin Lowe. You've been following that one?
Two friends of the show yelling at each other.
I
What's
know,
going
it's tough to
on?
pick
my
a side.
goodness.
Oh my God.
Let's discuss
Jerry.
after the break. More when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the program. The Kypreos, Justin Bourne, and our very own Sammy McKee.
All right, boys. Time now for the Acura Performance Matchup. The 2026 Acura MDX, precisely premium. So you mentioned it a little bit off the top of the hour, but the Ottawa Senators facing the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs. These two have never met in the playoffs, which I find somewhat weird because they've both been kind of good around similar times. But anyways, the Sens fought in the last 30 games of the season. The Ottawa Senators went 26-4 to fight their way back into the playoffs because I think they were last at one point. They were really way down there. Yep. I remember that because I was making fun of Sens fans and didn't go well. Nope. Because now they're back in it. Yep. They're making the playoffs for the first time in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 2011, 2012, and 2012-13. Carolina has won 2 of the 3 regular season matchups this season. This is going to be about the goalies, boys. I think you talked about it a little bit. Linus Ullmark's playoff numbers, I wrote here, aren't great. He's played 15 games. He's 5-10, 328 goals against average, and an .885 save percentage.
Would you take Brandon Bussey over him, though?
Brandon Bussey has, I wrote in bold letters here, Brandon Bussey has never played a playoff game. I have my own little personal sheet. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Ullmark was so bad against the Leafs in the first round last year.
He was
Horrible. If he showed up,
they had a chance.
They had a chance.
For sure. And, I mean, I think about that, the first game where they lose 7-2, the Sens, and he was just the goal even that he let in against Pacioretty. Frederik Andersen's playoff numbers that I looked up.
Probably not as bad as you think.
Way better than I thought.
Yeah.
He's got 46 and 35 record, 240 goals against, and a 914 save
That's
percentage.
So many games, too. It's a massive sample.
Because you forget how long he's been around. He played for the Ducks for all those years.
But they always win in the first round.
Who?
Carolina.
Oh, Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, Carolina. They always. Oh, sorry. Am I behind here?
Well, I was like, the Leafs.
Did the train pass me and I didn't jump on?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. It's just Carolina, like there's the numbers are in the first round.
Yeah, they've been very good. I thought the one stat that you had in here about the Senators, so since they first made the postseason in '97, no Canadian franchise has been in the playoffs more than the Senators.
18 times, right?
Yeah, since 1997.
And the last thing I'll mention, Kochetkov, right? He is in 10 playoff appearances.
You can't say that
Kochetkov.
normal. You always say I can't. Hard syllables.
It's Kochetkov.
Yeah, there you go.
He's in 10 appearances, 4 starts, a 360 goals against, and an 860 save percentage.
I know
he hasn't been particularly good.
Yeah, I know. In talking to my buddy Chris Jetty, he's a Sens fan, was just saying that like reading some of the stuff around the Sens, they feel like last year they kind of weren't ready. Right, their first time with this group getting back in playoffs, and they took a bunch of dumb penalties and ran around and feel a little bit more composed and know what to expect.
I'm sure we'll do picks, but the Sens are going to beat the Canes. Anyways, that was the Acura Performance Matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX, precisely premium.
Hey, you haven't brought out the schedule yet, have they? When they start? Saturday night.
I'm seeing some local reporters trickling in with some times maybe, but I haven't seen anything confirmed, I don't think.
It's crazy. Final games are Thursday and Saturday.
I love it.
Okay,
I love it.
From final games Thursday to like roughly 12 days, you go from 32 teams to like 8.
Yeah.
Like it's quick.
Yeah, after you're through the first round.
It's great. It's fun to watch, but in a very short period of time, only 8 smart teams, and the rest of them are idiots.
That's
dumb,
why that
dumb
12
teams.
days. That 12 days is the height of the sporting calendar.
Oh, like we're in it right now.
Yeah.
First round of the NBA, first round of the NHL,
Masters
Jays, Masters, just elevated event this weekend. You know, at the RBC Heritage Golf Tournament.
It's like 24 teams in 12 days become really stupid, right?
Yeah.
And need fixing.
This is a monster video coach time right now. As you got to prep, you need all the systems of the other team. You need individual package on each player. You need tendencies. Your coach wants stuff. It's crazy time.
So I mentioned before break, 2 friends of the show, Kevin Lowe and Chris Pronger, kind of,
butting heads,
remembering or misremembering. I'm not sure which one it is, but this really goes back to Chris Pronger, who launched his book, his memoir, Earned, and he talked about 2006 departure in Edmonton. And in his book, he kind of talks about the story of how he ended up there and how he went from signing a 1-year deal in Edmonton to a 5-year deal, and spoke of signing it basically under the influence.
Couple pops.
Yeah, but it wasn't. The storytelling didn't kind of frame the Edmonton Oilers or the city of Edmonton very good, and I think that's where he kind of got himself in a little bit of trouble.
Well, 2 thoughts on that. One is that it'll move books, right? We're talking about it. However, he's made lots of money and probably doesn't need book sales to do well.
Yeah, but he was interested in an executive job, and I'm not sure what that does for him. You know, we've been fortunate enough.
Yeah.
We've gone through the process of writing a book, and like, you got to be careful. You know, at the end of the day, you got to be careful on what you want out there and what you don't. And I got to think if he could do it all over again, he probably would have painted going to Edmonton in a different light than he did.
Well, they went to the Stanley Cup final, right?
Yeah,
like the
in his 1
experience
year.
there could not have been that bad. And
Lost in Game 7. The hardest I ever rooted for a non-Toronto team. They lost to the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 7.
And you know, it is.
No, go ahead.
Well, it is sort of, you know, I never would have done that.
So
except
I want to ask you, when you went through your book, did you write stories where you're like, oh, this is great, and then you woke up a few days later, or you had someone else tell you, are you an idiot? You're not putting that in your book.
Yeah, the first time, my first draft, I just wrote. And then I figured I would go through and be like, okay, cut. And the closer you get to, okay, this is the final cut. It's like, God, am I going to say that about that person? Do you
So
want that out there?
That's interesting.
I love the experience of writing a book. But I'm an all-in guy. Like, I just can't write a book. I got to know how the book works, how it sells.
Except reading your notifications.
Who
You're not
gets
all in on that.
Yeah. Where's the money going? Who's going to edit it? Who's going to help me? Who's going to tell me what's a bad story, how it can come back and bite me in the ass? I need all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm just not sure who was there for Chris Pronger to maybe be that set of eyes and ears to go.
I think
This is a really good story when you're around a table eating nachos with like 3 or 4 guys, but that's where it needs to end.
But see, people who are buying books want that. They don't care about Chris Pronger's future as a potential president or whatever.
But Chris cares.
Sure.
Right?
Totally.
And I think in this instance, he might have missed that point that if you want to picture yourself an executive one day and maybe either work for Edmonton or be a team that competes against Edmonton, let's not put that in the book.
If you missed it, Kevin Lowe,
Which, I got to tell you, I love Losey for doing it.
He went on LinkedIn, right?
I think LinkedIn.
And whatever. And wrote basically a very long and thoughtful thing about how, in retrospect, he wishes he didn't do the deal then. If he had known this is how Pronger felt about it, and how he felt that Edmonton was used as sort of a throwaway punchline. And basically, that Edmonton is a wonderful city, and everyone who has played there for a long period of time cites it as a meaningful part of their lives.
And he's a huge part of Oilers history, Kevin Lowe, and like he has a ton of pride for being an Oiler. Like, I love that he comes out and says that. Like, I'd be pissed too. I get it.
It's like, hey, I did that deal, and you were a good player for us, and I was right to do it, and don't come out and make me and
like the only reason you signed it is because you're hammered. Like, it's tough. It's a tough one.
Anybody
both our friends, and we're arguing about our friends.
Anybody out there thinking about writing a book? Talk to me first. Okay.
The process. All the details.
Talk to me first.
Few things I would rather do in my whole life than sit down. I have the worst ADD. I couldn't get through 2 pages. I can't read a book, let alone write one.
Hey.
I just say what you're going to say.
I just got a rent a barn text for Pronger and Kevin Lowe. We get a barn fight going for those boys.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, both really dirty. Nasty dirty.
Oh, so Kevin dirty.
Oh, my God.
I don't really have any Kevin Lowe memories.
All those old
Kevin
who
Lowe,
are very talented.
like,
We're all like Dennis Potvin was the same way.
ultimate stick man.
Like sneaky dirty, or just dirty?
Like, yeah,
Spears.
both.
Pitch
Both.
Love
I
that.
remember going into Edmonton, and like, this is where he's won like 5 cups.
Yeah.
and someone's chirping him off the ice, and he's stopping and he's chirping back, and he's like, looks like he's going to take a stick and crack the guy over the head. And I'm like, didn't you win 5 cups in this town?
That was
I'm telling them to keep going in the dressing room, and I'm trying to get him to like keep going here. Don't get involved with the fan.
His Hall of Fame induction, that was the most surprising part, is the amount of people who were like, instead of all the other accolades, were like, he was
So the
mean.
Prongers and the Lows, like ultimate competitive step
They
on
could
your
play
head.
for Rick Bowness.
Oh my, Rick would love both of them.
I can't, if you're power ranking the players that you would least want to go to the front of the net with in the history of the NHL, number 1 on that list, I think, is Chris Pronger.
Chara, too.
Chara, but I don't know.
Chara will also
But Chara,
cheap you out.
Not step on your head though.
not the way Pronger.
No,
yeah,
Pronger is
not step on your head.
Yeah.
Which he's done.
Pronger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, so we got a lot really exciting game tonight. Leafs, Ottawa. If you're listening to this and you're a Leafs fan, please do me the favor of listening to the final Leafs talk of the year. And please watch Bourne on Sportsnet tonight because it's
the Jeb Bush please
this
clap of
this is
inspiration.
We give you a lot of content over the years. Please be on there
Buddy,
for
you
us.
don't want eyeballs and whatever
please
you have
be
to say
there.
tonight.
Please be there.
This
for
is
us.
like giving blood right now. We're asking people to give blood.
Please be there for us.
We're going to talk a lot of Ottawa Senators playoffs tonight on the
that's good.
broadcast. I
Sammy?
can tell you
Yeah,
that.
bud, what's up?
Sammy.
Yep.
I'm turning you into a Montreal Canadian fan and an Ottawa Senator fan.
You got
Yeah.
10K? I'll do it for 10K.
Would you really?
No.
Now he's going to say American.
10K's not going to cut it for you to.
No, like fan, like wear a Habs hat?
Well, like, but I thought it was like become a fan.
Like for life or just like play one on TV?
No, just for the spring.
Okay, well, if Sportsnet, if everyone's listening
10K
upstairs, like I'll do it for 10K.
Bring
The-
a cup back to Canada. Come on, Sammy.
Tomorrow and
We're all
tomorrow and
Canadians
Friday,
this spring.
we have 2 things to do. During the NHL hour, we're going to make our picks
Oh yeah.
for the playoffs and awards.
Oh
We got Hart Trophy. Norris,
I don't care for
Selke.
awards. They're goofy. They should
You're
get
a
rid of
host.
them.
You gotta
Just
play
get
along.
rid of
You
them.
got to make a pick.
Get rid of them.
Rid of them.
Get rid of the awards.
Just
No
stop it
historical
with it.
player
Why
in
would
the
we have
league or
any
anything.
barometer of who was
You
good
need an
year
award.
after year?
You need an award to feel better about yourself. Really?
That's what it is, to pick up the confidence of Connor McDavid.
Our thanks to Luke Fox from Sportsnet.ca and Erik Johnson.
It's awesome,
All right.
boys.
You like his hair.
We got through today.
Good hair, good teeth.
We get through every day.
You have to.
Easily.
Time
Sometimes I
passes.
worry.
Oh, we gotta
I
go.
do worry. Have a great night, everybody.